In the shadows of Japan's bustling cities, a sinister legend lurks. Whispered tales speak of a malevolent spirit, a girl who resides in the unnoticed gaps of everyday life. She's a chilling enigma, a game of hide and seek with fatal consequences. They call her the Girl from the Gap, a specter who turns curiosity into a deadly game. The Girl from the Gap is no ordinary ghost story. This legend, deeply rooted in Japanese folklore, has managed to captivate and terrify audiences far beyond its native land. It's not your typical tale of a haunted house or a vengeful spirit tied to a specific location. It's about something far more unsettling. This eerie entity is known to dwell in the cracks and crevices of everyday life, the seemingly innocuous spaces we rarely pay attention to, the narrow alleys between buildings, the slim gaps between furniture, even the tiny space between your bookshelf and the wall. The Girl from the Gap could be lurking anywhere, waiting for her chance to strike. What sets this legend apart is its omnipresence. It plays with our innate fear of the unknown, the unseen. It makes us question the safety of our own homes, our familiar surroundings. She is not a ghost who haunts a particular place, but rather, she could be anywhere, lurking in the gaps. Encountering the Girl from the Gap is not a matter of chance, but a chilling sequence of actions. This is not a tale for the faint-hearted, but a deadly dance with the supernatural, where every move counts. The Girl from the Gap is not one to show herself to just anyone. She is a phantom of the shadows, lurking in those narrow gaps and spaces in our everyday lives. It could be the gap between furniture, the tiny slit under your bed, or even the narrow spaces between bookshelves. She hides in these overlooked crevices, waiting for the curious and the brave to seek her out. But why would anyone want to find her, you ask? Well, that's where the allure of the unknown comes in. There's a certain thrill that comes with tempting fate, a thrill that has led many into her clutches. To encounter her, you must first find a gap, any gap. It must be narrow, almost invisible to the untrained eye. Then you must peer into it. If you're lucky, you'll catch a glimpse of a pair of eyes staring back at you. Those are her eyes, the Girl from the Gap. Once you've seen her, there's no going back. But be warned, this is not a game. The consequences are dire. Once you've locked eyes with her, she will ask you a simple yet haunting question. Want to play a game of hide and seek? If you agree, the deadly game begins. You will have to hide, and if she finds you, well, let's just say it's game over in the most final sense. If you refuse, she will disappear, only to reappear in the most unexpected of places, a constant reminder of the deadly game you are yet to play. Whether you accept or refuse, she will haunt you, turning your life into a never-ending nightmare. Remember, once you've seen her, the countdown begins. The Girl from the Gap is not just an urban legend, she is a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows, waiting for those daring enough to look. The tales of the Girl from the Gap vary, each more chilling than the last. It's fascinating how a single legend can morph and evolve, branching out into numerous versions, each with its unique flavor of dread. Let's delve into some of these variations, shall we? One of the most common versions of the tale involves an innocent game of hide and seek. The Girl from the Gap, a spectral figure with wide, staring eyes, is said to hide in narrow gaps and spaces. If you happen to glance into one such gap and meet her gaze, she'll challenge you to a game. However, this is no ordinary game. It's a lethal version of hide and seek, where losing means death. In another version, the girl is a harbinger of doom. If you spot her, it's a sign of an impending disaster or personal tragedy. She doesn't interact or engage, she merely appears, a chilling omen of misfortune. Some stories paint her as a vengeful spirit, trapped in the gap between life and death. She seeks vengeance on the living, luring them to their demise through her eerie games. This version often ties her to a tragic backstory, adding a layer of sympathy to her otherwise fearsome character. There are even accounts of real-life encounters with the Girl from the Gap. One tale tells of a man who, while moving his bookshelf, spotted a pair of eyes staring back at him from a narrow gap. He brushed it off as an illusion, only to be found dead the next day, his body contorted in an unnatural way. Theories abound as to the origin of this supernatural phenomenon. Some believe it's the manifestation of Japan's collective fear of the unknown, personified in the form of a spectral girl. Others suggest it might be tied to the Japanese concept of ma, which refers to the space between things, both physical and metaphorical. This could explain why the girl is associated with gaps and narrow spaces. Psychologists have also weighed in, suggesting that the girl from the gap could be a result of pareidolia, a psychological phenomenon where the mind perceives a familiar pattern where none exists, like seeing faces in clouds, or in this case, gaps. Despite the variations in the tale, the common thread that binds them all is the chilling game of hide and seek. It's a deadly game that ends with the girl claiming her victim, adding a chilling sense of inevitability to the legend. Whether she's a vengeful spirit, an omen of doom, or a psychological manifestation, the girl from the gap serves as a stark reminder of the unseen terrors lurking in the shadows of our world. No matter the version, the ending remains the same, a deadly game of hide and seek. But is there a way to escape the girl from the gap? So, you found yourself in the terrifying predicament of having spotted the girl from the gap. What now? Well, there's no need to surrender to despair just yet. According to the lore, there might be a few strategies and rituals that can potentially save your skin. First things first, if you've noticed her lurking in the gaps, avoid making eye contact. It's said that the girl from the gap draws her power from the fear and acknowledgement of her victims. Ignoring her might just be the first step in escaping her clutches. Now, let's delve into the more ritualistic methods. Many believe that performing a purification ritual can ward off evil spirits. In Japan, this is often done at a shrine or by a Shinto priest. It involves prayers, offerings, and sometimes a sprinkling of salt for purification. If you're not in Japan, seek out your local spiritual leaders or perform a cleansing ritual that aligns with your beliefs. Another strategy revolves around the concept of balance. In Japanese culture, many believe in maintaining a balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. If you've disturbed this balance by encountering the girl from the gap, you might need to restore it. This could involve anything from meditation and mindfulness to acts of kindness and charity. However, the most crucial advice is to respect the supernatural. Japanese folklore is steeped in lessons about respecting entities from the other side. Don't provoke, don't challenge, and most importantly, don't underestimate the girl from the gap. Of course, these are merely strategies, and their effectiveness is as mysterious as the legend itself. But when you're dealing with the supernatural, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So, there you have it. A glimmer of hope in a seemingly hopeless situation. It's a chilling tale indeed, and the girl from the gap is not to be taken lightly. But remember, knowledge is your only weapon against her. The girl from the gap is more than a spine-chilling story. This tale serves as a stark reminder of the profound respect the Japanese culture has for the supernatural. It's a testament to the belief that the world we live in is intertwined with the spiritual realm. And not every corner of our lives is as ordinary as it seems. The legend isn't just about a spectral girl hiding in the gaps. It's about the consequences of curiosity, the danger of underestimating the unknown, and the importance of caution when dealing with forces beyond our comprehension. It shows us that sometimes the things we casually overlook, the seemingly unimportant gaps in our everyday lives, can harbor untold horrors. The girl from the gap is a symbol, a cautionary tale that warns us to tread lightly in a world where the supernatural is just as real as the physical. So next time you see a gap, be cautious. You never know who might be watching. Think you've encountered the supernatural? Perhaps you've stared into the gaps and glimpsed something eerie. Don't keep it to yourself. Share your own chilling tales and let's unravel these mysteries together. And don't forget to subscribe for more spine-chilling content. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.